Good morning, Besta. How are you? Are you still snowbound? They're actually calling for a chance of rain snow for us next week. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't even have my outside decorations up yet. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Linda. So good to see everybody jumping on. My name is Julie Heights, the chirpy card maker of quilts and more, and welcome to Mystery Quilt Block Thursday. So glad that you can join us. Hi, Jasmine. Let's see. Let's talk maybe some Stampin' Up! Business. Right now there is a sale going on. It started yesterday. It ends tomorrow. You can go on my Stampin' Up! Store page, or you can just Google Stampin' Up! And it will tell you the discounts. Now this is for the annual catalog. And the bundles that are already 10% off will be 20% off. Inks are on sale. That includes blends, refills. So I stocked up on some refills and some blends that I needed. Paper and punches. So check out that sale. And I think that is it. I did, as a demonstrator, we did get a sneak peek of the celebration items that will be coming in January and the new mini catalog. Very, very cute stuff. So that'll be exciting to look forward. It's, to look forward to that coming. And as a demonstrator, that's one of our perks. We get to even order early. So if you're looking at your wish list and you want to save some money, let me know. I can help you figure all that out, and then you will, you can, if you wait till November 19th, because November 19th is when demonstrators are going to get to pre-order. So if you want to wait, you can, but there's a really good join special that's coming with celebration too. But if it's just something you've been thinking about, you're a hobby demo, you don't have to do this as a business, but you want to save money, then reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it, okay? So let's get busy on today's project. I am going to flip the camera around. While I do, please say good morning to each other, and we'll get started. Okay, as soon as I can figure out my widgets here. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, now we just got to flip it. There you go. Oh, you know what I forgot to put underneath my glass mat? We don't want that glare. So we'll bring in a piece of cardstock. And let's just see if I can't zoom in a little bit. There we go. How does that look for everybody? I think I need to stabilize my space a little bit. I was playing around in my craft room and rearranging some things, and every time I do that, I seem to bump the mount that holds my phone, and so it just always seems like it's got to be adjusted. All right, let's see who's all here. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Pam, Helene, Kathy, Gail. Gail, you're going to love today's card, and it was because of your post that I went back to this one block, and I'm going to help you out with that one. Hey, Tony. Hi, Diane. Sandy. Thanks for sharing, Tony. And Sandy, Linda, Elaine, yay. Okay. So I'm going to be working with the Winterly Treetops bundle. A die cut for a little accent bird that I decided at the last minute to do. I'm using this sentiment here, but I am not, I didn't stamp this and much more, just sending thanks. I did use in the middle of the inside of the card, I did use a friend like you brings me happiness. This little bird here, I did decide to die cut from the DSP as a little accent. So you don't have that in your prep instructions, but you know, things morph all the time and you constantly get new ideas after you posted things to get ready, and I didn't want to keep like edit. So these will just be ideas of, you know, what else you can do to your card, okay? So we'll get those out of the way. I'm gonna bring in the trimmer and the bits that I had you prepare. So let's go over what was on the prep sheet. We'll start with the strips. So this scrappy block that we're going to do today, if you take two colors that complement each other and use scraps of those colors, it can really make this square pop. But you can also go very scrappy, you know, so don't overthink it. Do one, and then you will decide how you want to change it if your mind's eye is showing you something different. But we're going to get the basics down, okay? And because I'm using the Winterly Treetops suite, I brought out the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper, and I decided to split up my, I'm going to call them pinks, and come on, you. Okay, the pinks and the greens, blue greens, and I'm even repeating one of the patterns because you need a total of 8 strips, and there was only like 3 different patterns, so I've kind of repeated some. So gonna work with those. And we need a 3-inch square. Here's that little bird that I die cut from the Designer Series paper. I decided last minute to use him also on the inside. Might find a place for him outside, I don't know. I've got my sentiment. See how I didn't stamp the bottom part of that? I just put a Post-it note over it and masked it off, and then inked up just the sending thanks. Took the Post-it off and then stamped it. I've got my button, and then I've got 2 strips of Designer Series paper. This is kind of like a background, and they're 7/8 by 4. I've got an inside piece to stamp on that's 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put this on the back of my card. I'm going to give it some texture before I do. So I've got 2 embossing folders that I've got to decide on, and once I decide on which one I'm using, I am going to give the back texture the same texture as I'm going to give the quilt block. So we've got those 2. And then for our other pieces, we've got a 3 1/8 inch square. This is going to be a layer for our quilt block. Okay, just going to give that really thin little border all the way around. Then we've got a 4 1/8 inch square. This is a layer also. And it's going to frame our 4-inch square of basic white. And then we have our card base, which, oh, let's do these two little guys here. These are 1 inch by 4 1/8. And these will actually serve as a layer for our little strips of designer series paper. And now we can talk about the card base. It's your standard 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. I scored it in half at 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and fold that in half and then burnish that fold. Let's get a little bit of prep out of the way. Let's go ahead and let's put our layers for our little 7/8 by 4 inch strips of designer series paper. This is going to be just a very thin border all the way around. Okay. Is everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving? Have you made plans? My husband and his sister are actually going to be going to Florida to see his mom. And unless that storm that's brewing, they're down heading towards the Gulf, that if that gets any more serious, it might delay their little trip. But if they do go, I am going to be home with the dogs, and that's okay because that's going to be all my time to play. So I'm sad that I don't, get to see Mom, but I am looking forward to some playtime. So I'm going to go ahead and layer up these two. I'm not going to do the 3-inch square yet, and its layer. You can, if you've already started to do your layers, that's fine. I'm just going to wait on that one. So look at that beautiful, just that nice little border on that white. Oh my goodness, it just really pops. I'm going to wait on this because I do not know. I don't know what embossing folder I want to use. This is going to be the layer that I stamp on. I didn't get out my stamps. I just find it very awkward sometimes stamping, but I mean, I guess I could find a block. And let's see, what did I think I might have stamped. I've got some samples, but let's bring out early espresso. And we'll grab that stamp. I'm not going to glue it in because if this gets really crooked, then I didn't ruin my card base also. Okay, so let's see what happens, you guys. Let's just see how I do. Let's get it into camera. See, when I'm stamping away from my body, that's when things get a little odd for me. So let's move that. And let's just see if I can do this. I did it! It's a little off to one side, but I did it. Yay me! Okay, so I'm so excited. All right. And I think now, I stamped in my sentiment in Memento, but I don't think it's really going to make a difference. It's on the inside. You're not going to see the two of them at the same time. So let's just go ahead and put your insert on the inside of your card base. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. Okay. I'm going to set that aside. I've got glue on my fingers. I'm going to set these pieces aside. And let's work on our quilt block. So on that 3-inch square that you have, we're going to score it diagonally in both directions. So what does that mean? We're going to put our square on point so it looks like a diamond. And I'm going to put the opposite points in the track. I'm going to use the little bumpers up here at the top to help hold it. Now make sure you don't have your cutting blade. Bring that scoring blade down. And score it diagonally in both directions. If you don't do it this way, you can take a pencil and a ruler and you can draw a line diagonally in both directions. You're going to cover these lines up, so don't worry about an eraser or anything. So now we have our quilt block. We've got it scored so that we have 4 quarter square triangles. Okay, I know it's hard to see on white, but I don't know, there it goes, that shows it. So I've got 4 quarter square triangles. I'm gonna bring my greens in first. Just gonna separate them. And I'm gonna take one of these quadrants and I'm going to put some glue right on the inside of that quarter square triangle. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take one of my strips and I'm going to put it to the right of my score line a little bit. Now, in the prep, I told you a scant bigger than a 1/2 inch because the width of this quarter square triangle, if we cut them just a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch, then it goes all the way across. There might be a corner, if you're short, that you might either have to put a very small piece of paper in that white space. Sometimes that white space doesn't even matter when it's all said and done and you do your quilting and everything. It'll blend right in. Another thing you can do if you find that you have white space at the end is take a marker or a blend and color that little tiny bit in. Or you can just make your square a little bit smaller. But so then I'm just going to finish going across, keeping a nice straight line up here. And I'm kind of changing my pattern here. You know what? I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do this one. And then I'll do. So I'm totally now going against what my original idea was. And by cutting just a little bit larger than 1/2 inch, I've pretty much gone to my corner here. Just make sure that that corner is glued down. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to trim off these pieces because since I changed my mind on my layout, I need some of these pieces again. So I don't think that's going to matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your greens right opposite of it. So think of this like a bow tie, and your other greens are going to go on this side. You don't have to use the same order. You can mix it up. And I think I am going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to take this one that I cut off, put that one down there. Just, there we go. And then this guy here should be long enough that it covers. And what else do I have here? Now I can put this green in. So here I'm just using the pieces that I trimmed off. And you will have extras. It's okay. You can always make another card. And let's put, we'll put this one in here. Now, can you see what I mean? There was a little tip of white there. I am not even going to worry about that because I've got white in my designer series paper. For all anybody knows, there's just the white is there, okay? And we'll trim this off. I am using the side of my scissors here, just following along that cardstock edge to clean it up. And now I've got that. So Gail, your strips I think were a 1/2 inch by 2, and these were a little bit longer. You can see 3 inches was longer than what we needed. If you made your square even 2 3/4 or maybe even 2 7/8, that 2-inch strip might cover the length that you need just to get started. You've got plenty of length with your strips as you get smaller, but I'm thinking if you just make your square a little bit smaller than 3 inches, you can make all those scraps that you showed us work for this block. Okay, you could do like reds on one side, greens on the other, so that you work your 2 colors. That makes sense? Sharon placed an order yesterday. Yay! I know. I went through my blends and found that there was some that I really got the brush end. I wasn't real careful with it, so it was a little wonky. So I got some blends, and then I noticed that I had some blends that seemed like they were drying up because I wasn't using that color very much. So hey Jill. So now we're going to put the pinks in this space here. So I'm just going to paint some glue there in that opening. And but my designer series paper up to both sides of where the greens are. And we're just going to, oops, I got a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. When you're laying your strips next to each other, if you just make sure that there's some contrast between them, that will help really reveal a pattern. But if you go really scrappy, then you can do whatever you want. Nope, I'm not going to put that one there. We'll go with another light pink. And I think on the other side, what I'll do is I'll reverse the pattern. just to keep it interesting. For those of you who don't like matchy-matchy, switch it up. Okay, so now we're gonna go here. I have some other samples. I have some Christmas samples to show you with this layout. Now, this is just a scrappy block. This block, I know I did it back in the day, and I know I kind of took the long way to do it, because you can do this in more than one way. I could have cut squares and just did all my pinks in a row and all my greens, and then cut that square diagonally corner to corner. But now I have 4 pieces that I have to piece back together on yet another base, or draw the opening on my card and make it fit. And what if your cutting's off? What if you had to trim and now all those triangles are not fitting together? Well, this is the easier way. If you just put a diagonal in both directions and build on just one base, you're not trying to put all those pieces back together. So there's more than one way you can do this. I'm hoping that I'm showing you the easier way. I know I am, but I mean, everybody finds techniques and methods easier or harder for them. So this is the easy way. And now we'll put here, I'm just gonna switch it up a little bit. Where are the pieces I cut off? Where is that piece? Oh, it's right here. Okay. Just using up what I've already cut off, and then it'll leave me extra strips that I can just make another one. I think you can possibly get 3 blocks out of all of these strips if you want to use them all up. You may have to cut a few different pieces, but I think I was able to get a 3rd block out of my scraps. So here we have our quilt block. Okay, so it's just that scrappy little diagonal. You got your strips diagonally instead of straight across. Again, you could really think this through and have a pattern that you wanted to see, or you keep it scrappy. It's up to you. Okay, but this will help you use up those scraps. Now comes the time that I need to decide if I am going to use, I know I said that I had used the cute crochet, but I didn't. When I made my sample for myself, I used this like diamond. I can't think of what this embossing folder is called. This is what I used on my sample. In the prep, I told you I used this. So we're going to use this and see what happens. So I'm going to step away for just a second. I am going to give texture to my backing piece, and then I'm going to quilt my block. This will take just a second or 2. This is going to be a subtle, it's going to be a subtle pattern. You can see some texture there. And then I don't think I'm going to try and get fussy with how I lay this on because of all those little squares. I'm just going to run it through. what I love about the cute crochet embossing folder is that the pattern is really subtle. It's not super lofty to where the texture is gonna add a lot of bulk. It's just, it lays down really nice no matter what side you use. Very subtle. This is really great for quilt cards, especially backgrounds. So there are my quilted pieces. And let's bring in, set these, you know what, let's put our square block together. So now we're gonna frame our quilt block on that slightly larger square of early espresso. If you were using directional design, patterns, and it matters to you, notice that when we put them on the diagonal, they're not like straight up. And we're going to put our square on our card as square. I think you probably could get away with putting it on point. We'll look at that. But just be aware that if it really matters to you, you might want to cut your strips a little differently. If you even had to cut strips, I used the scraps that I had. And to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my back on my card. And this is a really quick card. I couldn't believe how fast it went together once I had like my layers cut, and it went really, really fast. And that's why I was able to make some more samples because, oh, I hate to cover up my little bird, but look, we got two little birds on either side. That's awesome. Okay, so that is done. Now we can go to the front of our card, and I'm just going to open it up. Make sure that my space is clean, or you could always put something in between that to make sure you don't get the inside of your card messed up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these two panels and we're going to glue them down to the sides of the front of our card. What I loved about the result of this layout is that really thin border with a darker color on the white, the thin border almost gave it that museum art look. I mean, as far as like the framing, it's very thin, and it really on white makes this look crisp and clean, kind of like that, what they call museum. Okay, so I've got those there. And now for our big square, what I'm going to do, is this getting in the camera? We might just have to fold it for right now. Let's just give it another crease to help this lay down flat. There we go. I am going to take my liquid glue. I'm going to put a bead along the inside of those pieces of Designer Series paper. I'm staying to the side. And then I am going to center this and lay it right on top. So this has given me just a really slight feel of dimension without having to use all these layers underneath and bulking up the card. I'm trying to keep my card relatively flat, adding texture with the embossing, but I just don't want it to get too bulky. You could pop this square up on dimensionals if you wanted. You could put our next layer on dimensionals. I'm going to leave that up to you. I am trying to leave this relatively flat. And as far as mailing, it's not for that purpose. I don't have a problem putting a 2-ounce stamp on a card that I made for someone, because for me, they're worth it. If that stamp costs 70 cents, whether it costs $1, to me, you know, I want to make sure it gets there. So I sometimes over postage, but it's, for me, I'm okay with it. So now our square, what I'm going to do is I am going to glue this right in the center. Kind of got a burr there. And let's take a look at whether there's room to put this on point or not. Nope, it's going to hang out on the ends. Now, I don't know. It might still fit in the envelope. I don't know if you want to take a chance on those corners getting messed up. If you want to do your block on point, maybe do a 2 3/4 inch square as a base, and then, well, even the 3 inch here. I don't know, maybe go 2 3/4, and then your layer would be 2 7/8, maybe, just since we're using 1/8 of an inch. But if you want to go on point, then your base square is going to have to be smaller. Okay, so I'm going to keep this square, but that's how I planned it. And so I am going to glue this down. Again, if you want to dimensionalize it, feel free. This early espresso on white and that real thin border. I love how clean and crisp my background looks. I can feel the texture from the quilting. When I'm holding the card, I feel all this texture on the back. Just want to make sure that you're straight. So now I have framed my quilt block, and if I bring in my little sentiment here, then I can decide where I want that to be. I think I'm going to put it down here in this corner. And notice that it doesn't lay flat. I am going to put 2 dimensionals right here. Kind of got my finger put where I want those 2 dimensionals to be. And they're going to fit right inside that white frame. And I think so that this end isn't flappy like that, what I did was I brought in a mini dimensional, because the minis aren't as thick. And it did help with how this landed. So I'm going to just put one right there. It'll just help hold everything down. And then just going to put my sentiment right there. And this die is from the Nested Essentials dies. I use one of those. So that's where the stitching comes from. And then, see what's left. Oh, we got to put some gems on it. And in that suite for Winterly Treetops are these, what do they call, are they just gems? But they're kind of flat. They're not going to add a lot of bulk either. A little bit, but we have some gems that really do add some bulk. And let's see, in my samples I used the shade of copper clay here and the spruce. So you know what, I think I'm just going to keep it subtle, and let's try these kind of beigey. Gems. I like that. Very subtle. But I'll show you what color looks like too, and put one over here to bring your attention over to where the sentiment is. And then this little guy that I die cut. Now, if you wanted, you could put him, you could put him in the center of your quilt block. Huh. What I had done was I had put him on the inside to give the inside even some prettiness. Should I put him on the inside, or should we put him on the front? What do you think? Let's take a vote. Front or inside? Hi, Carol. Hi, Lori. Hi, Linda. Stephanie. Hello. I see it on the inside. Not to take away from the quilt block. That would be my thinking. Inside, front. Well, you know what, Stephanie, I like how you think. We think alike. And since my sample card has him on the inside, let's put him on the outside just to so that we can visually see the difference. And I think I'm going to pop him up. And let's bring one mini in here down by the tail. Oh, maybe put a mini up here with the berries too. So let's play. Let's see what happens here. And you know, when you get all your ideas, it means that you just have to keep making more variations of that same card. And so we'll kind of tuck his tail underneath there. Kind of finding the center. I like it. Aw, look, you guys. He's cute. Okay, so let me show you the other one I did. So here's side by side. We've got the quilt block doing all the talking. Okay, and I used the green gems. Oh, that's not the one. Hold on, I've got three. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you what it looks like if you don't frame your quilt block. And this was my very first sample. And I didn't frame the quilt block. So can you see how just that little bit of, I like it either way. I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I think this really just sets off that quilt block with a tiny border. Makes it, I don't know what the right word is, not elegant, but it steps it up, but you don't have to. Okay, and then here's where I put the little bird on the inside. So you can see outside versus inside. You could put two birds. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so there were my three samples when I did it with the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper. So let me show you some samples I did with Christmas paper. And I've got two more blocks to finish. So I'll have a few more of those because we have to have a giveaway. Oh, and another thing that I'm trying to get myself to remember is to at least stamp my envelopes. Kind of give the... I stamp all my envelopes when I send out the Barn Quilt card kits. And so what I'm trying to remember is to do something to my envelopes for my cards, even putting some designer series paper on the back. We're going into 2025. The new catalog for next year, I think, comes out in May. So we want to be using up our designer series papers anyway to make room for always new designer series paper. So putting some on the flap of your envelope is another good way to use up that paper. So let me show you a Christmas version. The paper is from Reindeer Fun. I did go into Snowy Days and bring out the candy canes so that I had more reds. And this red right here is from the Regal 6x6 designer series paper pack, because I didn't have enough, so I had to go searching for some more reds. So Christmas is better together. And then I just love this little tree. And these really flat embellishments, I don't have them nearby. They were actually part of another suite from last year, I think. But I put those on the tree to make it look like ornaments. And then to step it up, and then I put the trees on the back. And then to step this one up and give it a little bit more interest, I had an extra reindeer lying around. So I just put the little reindeer on there too. Now he's after the fact, so that's why he's not like in the center. But I don't think that it really looks bad being off center a little bit. But he needed a home, so I put that on the Christmas one. And then, oh, Kathy, this bird, yeah, it really is pretty. And the fact that in the bundle, you get 2 dies that will cut out 2 birds of the designer series paper. The other ones look like tufted titmice. And that's really nice too, so that when you want to add a little something to your card. And then, what is this paper called? I have had it since it came out, and I have not even used it. Season of Green and Gold, and it was like a suite, I believe. And I did use the stamp set from Peaceful, what is it? Peaceful something. That was okay. Peaceful Season. I used the sentiments from Peaceful Season. So this doesn't go with that paper, I don't believe. And then I used this die here for my sentiment. Okay. So it's kind of a mix and match type of card. But I wanted to show you how elegant it looks with the green and the gold. So we have like a really fun Christmas pattern. And then we have something a little bit more elegant. You can see all the greens and golds. And I had a distressed gold designer series paper. This is not the gold that is in the catalog. This is older, but it's what I had. And I used the gold for my layers to just kind of frame it. And then on the inside, I used more gold. And this is a very elegant Christmas card. Okay. So a more elegant card, a fun Christmas card. This is the back to that one. And then if we bring back in the Nests of Winter ones that we did today, and let's show the, was this the inside? Nope, that's not the one I wanted. And so we have our bird on the outside and we have our bird on the inside. So that was today's mystery quilt block. Something scrappy, something that goes really quick. Like I said, I have more squares to finish on the Sending Thanks. So I'm going to give away, I have 2 more. I'm going to give 4 away. So if you want to just put in the comments, Nests of Winter, then we'll give it a couple of days, let people have a chance to catch the replay. And I will let this little wheel that spins draw 4 names. And those will be the ones that I give away. Okay? So, and I think what I'll do is I will die cut a bird and send it with your card. And then if you want to add that bird to either the inside or put it on the top, I'll let you take care of that. So I'll send a little die cut with the card, and then you can finish it the way that you like. So I hope you enjoyed today's Facebook Live. Look for a PDF to get put in the files over in the group Quilt Cards and More this weekend. And I think that's it. I can't wait to see what papers you have chosen to make your cards out of. Again, if you want your quilt block on point, meaning that it looks like a diamond, you're going to have to downsize your square. You can still use your strips. You're just going to cut off a little bit more than, because they're going to be wider than what you need. That's okay. Just go down. Maybe start at 2 3/4 for your base. That way you can put a 2 7/8 inch square behind it and just see if it sits within the margins of the card so it fits in your envelope. You're just going to have to downsize the square a little bit. But keeping it square will make it fit also within the square that's underneath that. So I can't wait to see what you do. I'm always taking notes when samples are shared over in our group. So many clever ideas pop up over there when you share. And it just really, I think, helps everybody get those wheels spinning and giving it a try and then seeing where it goes from there. We all know our cards morph into other things when we start playing and getting more ideas. So everybody have a very blessed rest of your day. Go check out the sale that Stampin' Up! Is having. And I will be chatting with you over in the group this afternoon because I can't wait to see what you did. So with that, I am going to release you to your craft rooms and let you get busy. I'll talk to you later.